Sophia vanished, that was brought up in the impoverished town of Peppard, which is close to Naples. She experienced poverty and scarcity in her early years. She grew up in the midst of World War II's upheaval, frequently running for cover during airstrikes and going hungry. Despite these difficulties, little Sophia's remarkable beauty and unwavering personality were evident. As a little child, she looked to the far horizon and dreamed of leaving the darkness of post-war Italy one day. Her incredible road to prominence would later be built on her perseverance, which was shaped by those early challenges. Her journey to stardom started modestly when, at the age of 15, she competed in a local beauty pageant and attracted the notice of film producer Carlo Ponti, who would alter her life forever with her alluring appearance. In addition to her physical attractiveness, he saw her kindness, intelligence, and innate charm. Sophia started working in tiny film roles under Ponti's tutelage, progressively evolving from a timid, malnourished young woman into a self-assured, captivating on-screen persona. Despite numerous challenges, including social and legal constraints, their professional partnership quickly developed into a strong romantic bond. They would subsequently get married and stay committed to one another for more than 50 years until Ponti's death in 2007. Sophia Loren's climb to international fame was swift. Her big break came in the 1950s, when she acted in Italian movies like Ada 1953 and The Gold of Naples 1954, captivating viewers with her unadulterated skill and impassioned performances. She was different from many of her peers in that she was able to convey intense emotion with her eyes and gestures. Loren brought depth and genuineness to every character she performed, embodying both beauty and substance. Her move to Hollywood signaled the start of a new chapter. Alongside some of the greatest movie icons, such as Cary Grant, Frank Sinatra, Clark Gable, and Morello Must, she rose to fame on a global scale. She won the Academy Award for Best Actress in 1961 for her outstanding portrayal in Victoria Dacus to Women, Lazio. It was a historic accomplishment. She established herself as one of the most renowned actors in the world, in addition to becoming the first actor to win an Oscar for a role in a foreign language film. Her portrayal of a mother struggling to safeguard her daughter during warfare exhibited an emotional intensity that transcended language barriers. This performance is one of the most compelling images of human suffering and parental love ever captured on screen. Loren dominated both American and European film during the 1960s and 1970s. She brought elegance, comedy, and sensuality to her parts in films such as Marriage, Italian Style, Yesterday, Today, and Tomorrow, and The Millionaires. Her partnerships with Morello Mastroianni were renowned. They combined romance, humor, and sincere passion to create a timeless on-screen chemistry. Loren had a compelling charisma. Despite the glitter of celebrity, she always remained true to herself and exuded courage and dignity. Loren kept inspiring audiences and artists of all generations as the years went by. She never let becoming older take away from her passion for painting or her sense of purpose. Her subsequent roles in movies like The Life Ahead 2020 and 9 2009 demonstrated that her talent and emotional range were still as potent as ever. Loren's portrayal of Madame Rosa, a Holocaust survivor who looks after orphaned children in the film Life Ahead, which was directed by her son Eduardo Ponti, was incredibly poignant and perfectly captured her enduring talent for expressing strength through vulnerability. The world waited in suspense on September 24, 2023, when it was revealed that the renowned Sophia Loren had suffered a severe fall at her Swiss residence. After suffering several fractures to her hip and femur, the adored Italian movie star, whose beauty and energy had long defied her age, was taken to the hospital. According to reliable insiders, the incident, which happened at her private home close to Geneva, was extremely alarming for both her family and her admirers. A skilled medical team working to restore Loren's movement and stop additional issues performed emergency surgery on her within hours. Carlo Ponti Sr., the renowned Italian film producer who was instrumental in both establishing Sophia Loren's illustrious profession and ensuring her personal happiness, has long been associated with her romantic and married lives. One of the most captivating and enduring love tales in the annals of international cinema was their connection, a story of intense love, creative cooperation, and defiance of tradition. During a time when their union was viewed as contentious by the courts and the church, Sophia Loren first encountered Carlo Ponti in 1950, when she was only 15 years old and had just begun her adventure into the world of beauty pageants and acting. Ponti, 22 years her older and already a successful film producer, noticed her extraordinary potential immediately. He became her coach, helping her get auditions, leading her through the early phases of her career, and transforming her from a shy, awkward teen into a confident, glitzy actress prepared to enthrall audiences everywhere. What started out as a business partnership quickly developed into a more meaningful emotional bond based on respect for one another, similar aspirations, and sincere affection. They faced several challenges on their way to marriage though. Due to Italy's stringent divorce rules at the time, Carlo Ponti was still legally married to his first wife, Giuliana Fiasri, and it's impossible for him to get a legal separation without being condemned morally and religiously. Sophia and Carlo's love for one another simply grew stronger in spite of the legal obstacles. In 1957, they married by proxy in Mexico with lawyers standing in for them during the ceremony. This action led to a scandal in Italy, where the union was denied recognition. This marriage was later annulled in 1962 to avoid bigamy charges. However, the annulment did not mean that their love was over. Instead, it strengthened their determination to stick together in the face of religious and social pressure. In the end, their love story overcame hardship. After years of legal and personal difficulties, Carlo Ponti eventually became a citizen of France. In 1966, this allowed him to officially divorce his first wife and remarry Sophia Loren, this time in Paris. Their lifetime collaboration as husband and wife and as artistic partners truly began with his second marriage. Carlo produced a number of Sophia's most well-known movies, such as Vittorio Decca's To Women 1960, for which she won the Academy Award for Best Actress, and Marriage Italian Style 1964. Together, Sophia and Carlo created an artistic empire that embodies Italian grace and beauty on a global scale. Their more than 40-year marriage was based on a shared destiny, mutual respect, and deep loyalty. Sophia and Carlo's bond's romance lasted over the years. In contrast to many Hollywood partnerships that broke down under the strain of celebrity, their two sons, Eduardo, who went on to become a film director, and Carlo Jr., who became an orchestra conductor, both continued their parents' artistic heritage. Sophia frequently referred to her husband as her great love, praising him for giving her confidence, believing in her when few people did, and molding her into a woman of depth and dignity as well as a world-class actress. Sophia Loren was left with an unfillable vacuum in her life after Carlo Ponti passed away in 2007 for her, both personally and professionally. His passing signaled the end of an era. However, Sophia has remained gracious in her remembrance of him, often citing him as the inspiration behind her greatest successes even in her latter years. She frequently thinks back on their journey together, remembering their shared dreams, their laughter, and the unspoken power of their bond. Their tale is still a classic illustration of how love can persevere in the face of adversity. A love relationship based on profound understanding, creative synergy, and everlasting commitment in addition to passion. Sophia Loren, an enduring icon of beauty, intelligence, and emotional depth, is still one of the last living legends of Hollywood's golden age at the age of 91. She has starred alongside several of the top leading men of her generation during her lengthy and distinguished career. She has, however, rarely mentioned George Peppard in public. She only feels comfortable talking about their time together in her later years, expressing the respect and difficulties that come with working with such a fascinating and complex man. "I didn't understand George," Loren says quietly. "He was attractive and gifted, but there was something troubled and constantly trying to establish itself behind his eyes." In the early 1960s, when both were at the pinnacle of their careers, Loren recalled meeting Peppard for the first time. She was already well known throughout the world for her brilliant roles in Yesterday, Today, and Tomorrow, Two Women, and El Cid. Peppard, on the other hand, who had recently emerged as one of Hollywood's most promising new leading men following his breakthrough performance in Breakfast at Tiffany's. She recalled that we had met at a Los Angeles dinner. At first, he was silent and seemingly aloof, but when he did speak, his voice was very authoritative. It was evident to me that he was a man who had struggled to be taken seriously. According to Loren, Peppard had a traditional masculinity that was both alluring and occasionally frightening. She claimed that although he was charming, it was hard to get to know him well because of his pride and armor. According to Loren, their working relationship was characterized by conflict as well as respect. She clarified that George took his art very seriously. Every sentence and every motion had to be flawless. Although that level of intensity can be lovely, it can also be draining. When things didn't go his way, he would occasionally become irate, but I would just grin and stare at him. "George," I said to him, "life is not a battlefield." He chuckled, but I doubt he ever gave it much credence, as if she were recalling a man who never fully found peace with himself. Loren's laughter at the remembrance had a hint of melancholy. He desired to be recognized. However, he also pushed others away. His inconsistency was that the Italian actress was open about Peppard's Hollywood reputation, his intransigence, his perfectionism, and his somewhat challenging nature. She claimed that he had a fire inside of him that burnt brightly but also scorched him. She recalled how Peppard lost out on numerous chances to further his career as a result of his disputes with studios and co-stars. Loren acknowledged that he didn't always play the Hollywood game and that he preferred to be appreciated as an artist rather than merely an attractive man. "I was impressed by that. However, there are times when you have to compromise, and George never wanted to do that." Loren's tone, however, was loving rather than judgmental. He had a warmth about him that not everyone noticed. He could be extremely gentle, she said in between takes. He enjoyed discussing books, politics, and the state of humanity. He wasn't a showman. He had an inquisitive and ever-probing mind. Loren hesitated, her tone becoming softer. "There are moments when I believe he was too smart for the environment he lived in. Charm is valued more in Hollywood than intelligence." Despite having both, George never felt at ease with the delusion of it all. As Loren thought of Peppard's final years, she became noticeably distraught. "I was disappointed to see how the industry ignored him. He deserved better," she admitted. "He once had the potential to be among the greats, like Newman or Brando. However, destiny had different plans." Loren went on to say that Peppard's battles with alcohol and inner demons appeared to be caused by the same erratic energy that used to make him so captivating on screen. She stated that he sought the truth in everything. However, he carried that pain within of him, since truth may be unpleasant. Loren gave a nostalgic smile when asked what she would say to George Peppard now if he was still living. She remarked, "I would tell him that he was wonderful, believed his talent was sufficient, and that he didn't need to fight so hard." She added softly after a protracted silence, "Despite not believing it himself, he was a good man." Sophia Loren's thoughts on George Peppard provide a unique look into the humanity of two figures who were influenced by the same harsh environment. Her remarks, which are laced with compassion and wisdom, show that she respects Peppard as an artist and recognizes the frailty that lies beneath his might. She came to the conclusion that we were from different worlds,